Hello there and welcome back. In this video, let's talk about account progression in the early game of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So the other day I finally crossed 100k power. So we'll poke around and look at my account, but first we're gonna do a short showcase of some community members that submitted their builds. As you can see, I am not free to play, but they are, and I just want to show that it is possible to progress even further than I have as free to play. Okay, so let's take a look at those builds. First up, we have Young Jesus. Now, all of you followers from Near Reincarnation should know who Young Jesus is. He was another YouTuber, and he hangs out in my Discord, and he's been playing Ever Crisis. And here is his team. And the reason I love this is because it's a little different from what you usually see. You usually see one DPS, a healer, and then like a support character, a sub DPS supporter, something like that. Like Barrett or Tifa or Matt. But here, Young Jesus has 2 DPS and then a multi-purpose healer debuffer. Of course, Aerith has the fairy tale for the healing and then the umbrella for defense breaking. And it's very effective. And I'm pretty sure we all use her like that. But this is really cool. Again, it reminds me of how we build for endgame content in Nier. You know, if you're doing enough damage, sometimes you don't have to worry as much about survivability, because if the enemy is dead, they can't hurt you, right? So I've been wanting to upgrade my Zac for this reason. Sometimes I feel like my problem is just the damage isn't coming out fast enough. All right. So again, Young Jesus is free to play. And it's cleared quite a bit of content, especially has gone really hard on the summons and has a lot of those weapons kind of farmed out. And that is really cool to see. All right, next up we have Redgrave, who's another high performer in Near Reincarnation. Redgrave is one of the only people in Global that has SSS plus 10 across the board in Nier. And we're all excited to have this new game to play, right? Where there's this big ceiling above us. A lot of us are just kind of sitting at end game level in Nier and just kind of getting by, maybe competing in arena, and you know, just other than that, just doing dailies and just chasing the new units we want. So yeah, playing the new game is really fun. Anyway, this is Redgrave's team, and Redgrave is also free to play. We got 109k power here, and this is the character loadout I'm using. And I use it the same way. I really love Matt. He's got that awesome physical attack break on that something beetle weapon there in the main, and then secondary healing with that prime number weapon. Very effective. The Aerith is built the same way, of course. And Redgrave was kind of ahead of us, clearing a lot of hard content. And then even more so, Raylan is going extremely hard. Also free to play, sitting at 116k power, 390 weapons, you know, some more impressive materia there. And using Barrett, so again, Barrett's good as like sub DPS and supporter, has great like attack break and defense break weapons. That's cool. Barrett's a little lower on my list, but you know, sometimes it depends on what weapons you pulled at start, you know? So along those lines, you should build, you know, for the weapons you did get, and maybe got a ton of Matt weapons. Maybe you got that prime number, and that would be a really good reason to use Matt. So you want to think about what 3 characters you're going to use first. Cloud and Aerith are really hard to pass on. And of course, they're some of the most popular characters. The devs are going to give them great stuff from the start. Now that Aerith has that umbrella, she's just packing in so much compression there and filling so many roles. And it is so effective. And she's one of my personal favorites anyway, so that's awesome. And then my team, and again, I'm not free to play. Been apparently playing more casual than my colleagues here. But yeah, I crossed 100k power, got my first 3 characters to 50, and got my first 15 weapons to 70 and a little beyond. And yeah, so let's talk a little bit about some advice from those community members regarding growth And of course, that's the theme for the video. We're talking about growth, right? Okay, so the biggest thing, and you've probably heard this in the other guide videos, you know, they'll talk about like, oh, here's where I really spent a lot of time, but really you got to just play everything. Play everything. Go into every single mode, and it's very overwhelming, I know, but it is true that the fastest growth to your power will be seen from the growth tree, and then after, you know, the weapon upgrades are just as important. So you're gonna have to be able to farm the appropriate stages, but you need the right amount of power to hit that, right? But sometimes it can be useful to punch above your weight class and be able to clear power levels that are above your power level. And to do so, it really comes down to understanding your team builds and battle strats. So again, back to the weapon upgrades, but choosing your sub-weapons carefully so you're maximizing our abilities and going for things like HP, which can really help in those hard battles. Make sure you got some really good HP stat sticks in your subs. Okay, then I mentioned element potential here, and that seems to be the only like damage modifier other than stats currently in the game. We have a few others in Near Reincarnation, but element potency. Did I say potential? It could mean a lot of things, that POT. Anyway, proper usage of buffs and debuffs in battle. So you saw on my team, you know, Matt has that other limit break up there. That's an incredible defense buff for physical and magical. Then, you know, his weapon has a physical attack break. That's not going to do much against a magic using enemy. I got to bring in my Tifa for that. But all of that is useful. You know, turn it on manual. Make sure that it's going in at the right time, right before that enemy nuke. The defense buff and the attack break. A lot of that, you know, you're going to have to go into manual and do that. Switch the characters. Make sure they're not automatically using the wrong thing. However, might I add that this is the most intelligent AI for auto battle that I've ever witnessed in a gacha. Okay, and then another great point made here about going for the percentage-based stats on your materia. That can really boost your power and have like a big impact on your bottom line there, especially magic attack, physical attack, and HP. Of course, go for the appropriate magic or physical, depending on what you're trying to do for that build. And then in general, prioritize the events, you know, because that's limited, and make sure you're you're clearing out those really important items from the exchange, like weapon upgrade mats, memories, etc. And then, other than that, again, there's a lot to playing this game, but make sure you aren't neglecting those summons, because they can be very powerful and really help you with your damage. Even if you just grab Ifrit and you haven't upgraded him yet, he is going to do more damage than your limit breaks, most likely. All right, let's head back over to the game and just kind of poke around and reiterate some of those things. Okay, so on this team, you see I'm at 105, and this team, like, just to clarify, my solo 3 here is when I need fire damage, and you see I have the fire blow on my cloud there. And if I get more fire potency weapons, I'll go ahead and put them in a subs. But for now, this is my lightning cloud, where I prioritize his weapon skill here. So in the subs, look at that, boost lightning potency. And then again, another one. So I went a little past my first 1570'd weapons, because you can get to a point where you can farm those, you know, pretty well before you can really farm the mats that take you to 80. And that can really help your overall team power just to get all of your subs to 70. All right, so Cloud is definitely more optimized than my other two here. But you can see that reflected here. You see my lightning potencies at 3, and that's just going to make that skill hit way harder. And again, if he's killing faster, you don't have to worry about dying if the enemy is gone, right? One thing I'm definitely lagging on is my materia, and It's okay for now, just to kind of get something there so that you have the appropriate sigils to break or to interrupt, as it's called in this game. And you see here, to maximize this, what do I have here? So, okay, I haven't updated this in a while. Is there a triangle in here? So I maybe I didn't want triangle on this, but Cloud, with this weapon, you really want, you see that? A triangle sigil there, and that will actually help boost his power. Right, those are all things to think about. Of course, you're gonna be hanging out over here, enhancement quests, weapon quests, and then you're gonna need to be running this, obviously, just to upgrade them, and they run out fast. But you got to get yourself to a point where you can clear at least this 68 right here pretty reliably. And whenever there's a bonus, like we just had that Cactuar bonus, just go hard. And yeah, just try to get your 15 to 70 at first. Then you know, start getting some of your more important main hands up to 80, by clearing this stage. And at least, you know, you get that first 30 drop. No, sorry, on these you do, but this you don't. But you do in the premium. So you can head over to premium, get your first clears of, you know, for the micro cubes. And these, and you'll get your 30. So you can at least 82 weapons. And then it's going to be, you know, the crisis dungeon grind from there, which I'm behind on. It's really cool, and at the same time, it's kind of a slog. So, yeah, crisis dungeons are very important. That's how you get your mats to go up to 90 on your weapons. Then, of course, the growth tree is the fastest way to increase your power. The main thing you're going to get capped on here is memories, and these regular nodes, you know, the mats are pretty easy to farm. Now, again, I'm a spender, and I sped this up by buying some memories, but it's one of the reasons I wanted to show that community showcase, just to prove that even though I spent, it wasn't necessary, and people who are free to play are actually further along than me. In fact, some people I saw on Reddit have already cleared Tower 50 as free to play. That's insane. Usually, a free to play going hard, it should be around 30. And I'm a little behind on my tower. Speaking of tower, those memories, you know, they can feel like that's where you're really gated, and where can you get them? And of course, you get them just from leveling up, which, by the way, a great way to level up is by running those upgrade stages. I would recommend not hanging out on the regular enhancements, like these, the character EXP. I wouldn't really hang out there unless, let's say, you're at, you know, 39 and just trying to push to 40 real quick so you can unlock your next branches. As for the 0, they don't give great rewards. If it's something like maybe you're able to sit there and you're doing something else and you're really busy with something else all day, but you can just hit refresh, then it's not so bad. Go to the highest one you can, take your team or people that you want to upgrade, and just, you know, let's say if it's an 8-hour shift at an office job, boss doesn't mind if your phone is in there, then that's the only, that's the only way I can see this being worth it. And again, I wouldn't go wasting your stam there. A lot of people are running out of stamina, and apparently it's just brutal once you do. Even if you're trying to wail for more stamina, it's bad. And I've seen, you know, some very formal complaints about this. People that have gone extremely hard, and now they're hitting this wall. And that's very understandable, and I feel your pain. But at the same time, I do think the devs did that because they didn't want us to just clear all the content out in a few days. So it is the early game. And if you're asking the devs to fix it, I think they've already planned on, you know, we're going to get that quality of life. We're going to start seeing more stamina coming in. You can't judge a gacha game based on month 1, right? So in Nier Reincarnation, we had the same thing. We had a lot of stamina, but we were really gated. You know, you couldn't even upgrade all your weapons at first or whatever it was. And then after a while, after a few months, you know, half anniversary, you get to a point where you're just swimming in everything. You get a new character and blink, max it immediately, right? Where here it's taking us weeks. Now, I don't think we're getting any kind of character upgrade mats in this game, but what we do have is the Chocobo farm. Now, this reminds me a lot of Expeditions in Saga Re-Universe, which is another gacha I played, and they have something called the Expeditions. It's the same deal, and you can put your characters in there and gain stats just by running it instead of running them in battle. And then in the early game, that was very gated, and you know, you would run it, it would be time gated, you would come back however many hours later, collect, yada yada. But then, after however long, 6 months, a year, we got to a point where we had so many skip tickets, or whatever they were called for it, that you would just go in there and skip. Then quality of life came where you could skip 10, skip 100, and just, you could get a new character and just skip 1,000 in one go because you have them, like, you're overflowing in mats for it. And then boom, your character is maxed. And I think that's gonna be the case for the future of this game too. So just hang in there. I know that being gated is frustrated, but I think it's gonna get better. So come in here, and if you've already got someone to 50, take them out, put in the next one you want to upgrade. And yeah, we're gonna update the data. So in any case, these expeditions are a great way to earn passive experience for characters on the sidelines. And, you know, just try to get the best chocobos you can and clear out the stages that you haven't cleared yet. So for example, I go here and see that I've completed Midgar 1 and 2. So now I'm working on the stages in 3. And like I said, we'll eventually see more and more quality of life. It's just built into how gachas are designed. You really can't judge it based on how it is in month 1. You know? You're not supposed to clear everything yet. And if you're feeling bad about being behind, or, you know, just chill. It's okay. There's no reason to rush right now. The only thing you should be rushing, if you really care about the game in the long term, is make sure you're not missing out on clearing out the event shops and then any kind of weekly items in co-op. Otherwise, I don't see it being, you know, that worth it to drop so much stam here if you've already got the good items. Because, like I said, once your stamina's gone, it's rough to get it back. And, but again, I think that's gonna get better in the future. Other than that, we have the summon quests. And this is really awesome. And again, this is all super overwhelming and it's just so much to work on. But pace yourself, do it at your own pace. Don't lose sleep over this. But this is really cool. I can't wait till we get more of the summons. Their animations look so cool and their power is insane in battle. And this is going to be a grind, you know, because they have their own growth trees too. And you're going to need to farm to get those mats and then farm to get those weapons overboosted and all of that. So this is really cool. I love it. And then, you know, we were talking about growth trees and the character memories, which you'll be able to get just from leveling up. But if you're running out, don't forget that they are rewarded in tower. And I'm a little behind here, still coming up on 25 here. I've been working a little harder on upgrading my weapons and whatnot this week. It just got to this level, and that's what I'm reporting on for you. But you see here, I'm gonna get Cloud, Barret, and Tifa by clearing 25. So a lot of your memories are coming in there. Of course, I sped up my memories by spending, but once again, we can see how free-to-play have progressed even further than me, so just know that they are in the game. Just play the game, they're there. All right. So I think that covers what I want to say about all the content. You know, it is overwhelming. There's so much. I feel like this is what I've done the least of, the synthesis quests. Make sure that a part of your daily routine is to clear these 3 because this is very valuable and you only get 3 a day. And you can come here, get your first clear of this and you'll at least get your 30 to 81 weapon. I said it, I'll say it again. And then, you know, you can always farm your memories at this point. And it's just going to be slower, but again, there's no rush because there's no competitive content in the game. I really look forward to potential competitive content, whether it be PvP or like PvE competitive content like Tower in Mobius Final Fantasy, which is very fun. It was Tower similar to what we have here, but it was open for a week and it infinitely scaled up. It did not run out of levels. So it was a perfect test of how developed your account was, how clever you are in battle, and how much patience you have to reset as the you get up towards like 150 and you have to have perfect RNG just to pass it. Okay, so that was actually really fun in Mobius. I would spend the whole month getting ready for Tower and then would go as hard as I could. There were really good rewards at the different tiers, top 500, top 100, later top 50, etc. Did get a top 9 once, and it was enough work that I did it once and then peaced out. All right, so those are my thoughts on progression. Again, that's, you know, how I got to 100K. It's all about that growth tree and getting your weapons up and then being smart about your materia, properly using your materia to make those slots glow. You know what I mean? Like we saw here on my cloud. If I put the triangle there, I'm gonna get a little bit of more power out of it. It depends on the build, what you're trying to do, right? And yeah, just enjoy the game. And why don't we close it out by doing a few draws? I got some tickets here from doing some of the tree. All right, let's see what we get with Barrett's. Let's do some single pulls here. And we'll just skip. This is gonna take forever if we don't. All right, a blue. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Hopefully we can see an orange here. Close the video out nicely. All right, purple. Close enough, right? Almost. Not really. Let's see, two more. We'll just do the 5 Barrett and then we'll wrap it up. The video's getting a little long, I know. Okay, bomber. Oh! All right, I'm feeling spicy. Let's go do, let's do the others. Horrible. Not an orange yet. Should just wait till they build up to 10. Sorry, just do them in one go because it's a little painful. Stop. One more. Let's get an orange. Come on. Well, as you can see, it do be like that sometimes, and maybe, hopefully that made you feel less bad about your own pulls if they went horribly. It happens to everyone. You know, don't get too bummed about it. RNG evens itself out sometimes. Sometimes you get 3 oranges in one, and then the next 3 pulls are empty. So hang in there, and I hope your account progression is going well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, how you're liking the game. I know there's a lot of complaints about the game, like I said earlier, and it's valid, but just hang in there. It's not a race, right? In any case, thanks so much for watching. As always, if you like what you see here, throw a like and a sub on it. All that stuff helps me grow, and it's so much appreciated. If you want to join my Discord community, if you feel like you have like advice you can share and you're going hard and you just want people to hang out with, and a community that's not as crowded like the others. I myself don't hang out there because it's just so much happening, right? I'll put the link in the description. We'd love to have you. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.